Hello, this is Daryl at 10 Foot Truck Good Attitudes Services. And I just got back from a recliner sofa removal, and it was great because the customer actually brought the recliner down to the ground level. I thought I was going to have to climb some stairs, those are heavy, so I wasn't looking forward to that. But since he brought it downstairs, I was able to get the four-wheeler dolly and just roll it to the truck. So it went really smooth. It's a nice drive. And I'm getting a lot of calls because it's the end of the month, is for moving labor. And I've been kind of reluctant lately to do moving labor because, once I started doing junk removal, I realized how much less physical labor you have to do in less time, as opposed to doing moving labor, which is really, you expend a lot of energy. It's very challenging physically, especially going up and down stairs. When you're doing a full move, loading the truck, unloading the truck, going up and down stairs, it's just a lot longer, a lot more physical labor to make money. And I did that for a lot of years, and I noticed that even back when I was doing moving labor exclusively before I bought the truck. And that was 16 years ago. I started doing that, advertising online and doing that with a friend of mine. And the amount of money, the amount of pay per hour per man back then is actually more than it is now in my area that I'm living in now, in Spokane, which, of course, when I was doing moving labor, it was over on the other side of the Cascades, King County, which is more expensive to live, but still, that was a long time ago. So I would expect the hourly to go up quite a bit with inflation, but it hasn't. Whereas junk removal, since you're doing it per load and you're charging per truckload, you're not making that. The hourly is much greater. You're going to make at least like $100 an hour, as opposed to when I was doing moving labor, and this was 16 years ago, it was $35 an hour per man, with I think it was 3 hour minimum, maybe 4, but at least 3 hour minimum. So you're doing $35 an hour, and that's what people expect when they're calling, like, how much you charge for moving labor without a truck. They expect you to say $30 an hour over here, sometimes even $20 an hour. And to me, to do that much work, that much physical labor, and really, pushing your body and your back, and going up, especially going up the stairs, to me, it's not worth it to do for $30 an hour. I would possibly do it for $50 an hour, and I haven't tried that price yet because I haven't done any moving labor in a while. I'm mostly just doing deliveries and junk removal. And in that case, I charge per truckload, or if it's a delivery, I'll charge a flat fee. If it's like one item, it's much less laborious. Is that the word for it? Well, labor intensive. So I have to do. I don't want to put so much energy and effort into something if I can do something that it's less physically enduring than to make money. But I will do moving labor, because it can lead to, like I did one just recently, but it wasn't that big of a job, but it led to another job, and which led to another job. So from one job turned into 3 because they needed some junk removal too. So, but yeah, the moving people are calling. I'm just, I'm having to turn down jobs because I just don't want to go out and do 3 hours, 4 hours of loading a truck for $30 an hour. Unless, if there's no business, like say tomorrow and Wednesday or Tuesday and Wednesday, there's no business towards this, the end of this month or the next month, then I may go ahead and do one just to get out there and do some work. But, once I started doing junk removals, it kind of gets spoiled because I did moving labor for a lot of years, and to me, I got used to it, but I know it was always a hard job. But to me, the pay was great because it was better than I was making at my job. Because at my job, I was making $10 an hour back then, or whatever, maybe 12 or 13 an hour. But then when I would go do moving labor, I was making 30 or 35 or even 40. And that was so much more money than just working a job. So I really appreciated it back then. And it's still a better way to make money. I mean, you're still making more money per hour doing the moving labor than you are a regular labor job, which pays like $16 an hour. So at least you're making more. But when you get a truck and you get into junk removal, then you're just making, you're making like a minimum like $100 an hour, and sometimes even more than that. So it really increases your money, your income as ratio to time, like how much time you spend doing. You could go out and like I did a small little junk removal job. It was only a partial of the truck. It wasn't much. It didn't take long at all. 10 minutes. It was $150, and that's a discount price because I know a lot of guys will charge more than that, but it's just the way to go. I mean, if you have a truck, I think it's something to get to try out because it does. It's not that hourly. You're not basing it on hourly. You're basing it in truckload. And I've tried that. I think you can do that with moving. You can do flat fees, like a flat fee, as opposed to hourly. But that can go against you sometimes because the move may take way longer, and then you're actually losing money. So it's hard to gauge moving because if it's a whole house, there's a lot of stuff involved. You may miss something when you're looking at the estimate, and you may sometimes it takes just longer than it's going to take, than you thought it was going to take. So if you do a flat fee, you're not going to make it as much. But if you're doing junk removal, it's a little easy. I think it's a little easier to estimate what's going to be a truckload, and then you just do it per truckload. So you're getting paid per truckload. It's always going to be what you want, unless it's like a long walk down the hall or down. Say you have to walk down a driveway or up a bunch of stairs, then you have to charge extra. But in that case, so hoping to get some more junk removal jobs at the beginning of this week and into next week, as opposed to moving labor. But I may take a moving labor job if it's a small, no more than 2 hours. I'll just do like maybe an unload or a load. I don't want to do the full load the truck like I was doing, unloading it. That just, after loading a truck, when you do something, a big move like with a bunch of stairs, you're already tired, and then you're all like sitting in the truck ready to go to the next job. To the next location. You're like, oh my God, I have to take all this stuff out of the truck. Of course, the unload's a little bit faster than the load, but it's still, you're already tired as it is. As where junk removal, you do all your energy is in loading the truck, and then the unload, it's not like you're loading, you have to load into a house and be careful and going upstairs. You just dump it out the back, so it's much easier, and you don't have to be as careful with this stuff because it's just going into the dump. So I think it's a good job. It's a good opportunity. So anyway, that's enough talk of that. I think I had something else to say, but I can't remember. I was going to talk about, in my next video, I'm going to talk about the time spent. A lot of people miss when they're calculating the amount of hours they're working. They forget about if they're self-marketing, if they're marketing on their own, if they're doing everything on their own as opposed to hiring a company. Sometimes they forget to calculate those hours. And I mean, you're working, even if you're working on the computer and you're putting up ads and you're putting up different, going onto social media or going on to different platforms to advertise, or if you're going to other locations, you also have to factor that in to how much you would make per hour, or you want to make per hour, and that's how much that's costing you. So if you spend 5 hours marketing all day, that's $500 worth of marketing in my book, because I want $100 an hour. So at least 50 an hour. So you would say it was 50 an hour for marketing because you're just doing stuff on a computer. Then you would want to say, well, I'd be, if I were to pay someone, that could be $250 just for that amount of time you were advertising. So yeah, you got to calculate that amount of time into your work week, not just to going on the truck and doing the actual physical job, but also the marketing. That should be calculated as work, and you should put that in the hours. And that's where you're having to deduct that amount of money, because you're not making that money. You're marketing it, but you're spending that time. So, and time is money. So always remember that. Anyway, I think enough talking today. I don't have anything else to say. Just wanted to do an update, and I'm going to get back on the computer and do some more ads. Good Attitude Services, 10-foot truck, signing out. Have a great day.